and tried to use every tool at our disposal to give a finale that is worthy of the series and the work that everybody has done for the series. And even then, when we got it all together and I was looking at it, I called Bryan Reitzell and I said, we need your help. You're gonna have to save the show on this one, because we didn't quite get it with production, so we need your music to push it over the edge. And he was like, that's my job.
When I was getting ready to start season 3, I was bringing some new instruments, and one of them was an old Celeste that I had refurbished and tuned. It's a 100-year-old instrument, so I had to have it. You drill holes in the metal bars to tune them. And the guy that did that for me had this instrument in his house. There are these giant bass tone bars. Each note is, you know, this giant plank of wood on a resonator with a pickup on it, and he had about, I don't know, maybe 10 or 12 of these things. Fill up this whole room.
From the beginning, when David Slade introduced us to Bryan Reitzell, sound and music blended into one. Yes, indeed, you have your sound editors, you had your music editor, but pretty much tone in the room became put aside to what the music would give more of the tone in the room.
I don't really get ahead with the show. I stay on the one that I'm working on so that I can, you know, stay in the show in that way. So once I got the Red Dragon footage, it was all about those giant bass tone bars.
We were always in the mixing room taking down the effect and bringing up the music.
And then the Siouxsie Sioux song came in.
The skies tumbling from your eyes.
I had the idea to do a song with Siouxsie Sioux a couple years ago after I saw her do a concert in London, because she hasn't recorded in a very long time, but she also hasn't performed in a long time, so it's a pretty special show. And I had mentioned to her manager that we should do something together. And then I got busy with Hannibal with season 2, and when I finished season 2, I thought it might be really cool to do the song now and to use it to market season 3. So we were going to start it before I started season 3, and that just didn't happen for different reasons. And then it turned out that Siouxsie was a big fan of the show. So that was great. She was already sort of in tune with what was going on with the show. And she asked if Bryan Fuller would give her some information about what the season was going to be like. And he said it was a love story. So she came up with, you know, the lyrics and to Love Crime.
David Slade and Bryan and I sat down and we heard it. And Bryan was like, where does it go? And I was like, it goes in the final fight sequence, because it's going to be the thing that tips us over the edge. And it's a thing that the show needs to really bring all the elements together.
And I played it for Bryan and David Slade, and they were both excited. Bryan especially, because he had seen the finale. And even though I had it, I wasn't going to look at it until it was time. And I kept saying, I hope it's going to work. I hope it's going to work. But he was all giddy about it, so I was optimistic. When I got to the finale, finally, I put the track in and I lined it up towards the end so it would play out properly. And then I sat down and watched it, and after a few minutes, I started jumping up and down in my studio alone by myself, because it worked so well. Like, we couldn't have planned it any better. The way the rhythm of the editing went, the way the slow-mo, the way the different things hit was just, it was perfect.
We laid it down on the fight sequence, and everything just kind of came together as if it was always designed that way. But I was terrified of that last act of the show, because I knew very likely it was the last act of the series, and I was so heartbroken that we weren't able to pull it off in terms of production, but it came together miraculously despite lots of obstacles.